Okay, forget about all those picture-perfect homes. Today we're looking at real people's real homes, with real challenges, restrictions, and odd layouts. A few months ago, I asked you to send me your home decor challenges, so I could give you my somewhat professional opinion. So this is What Would Maria Do? Alright, I already shared the transformation I envisioned for one of the submissions I got from you guys in this video here. But for today's video, I selected not just one, but 4 spaces. So let's get straight into the first one. This is Jackie's home office space. He says, "My large executive desk faces the door with no space for furniture behind it, leaving a blank backdrop wall that feels unfinished. I don't want to add unnecessary furniture just to fill space. The office is used for remote work with a computer, phone, and printer, and occasionally hosts visitors. I would also like to add a guest chair and possibly a cabinet or sideboard while keeping the space uncluttered." So basically, he wants a bold yet timeless look while keeping things clean and minimal. Well, I have some ideas. First, in a home office space like this one, where the desk stands right in the center of the room, we have but one option. The wall behind it should be the focal point. So let's start with that and create a feature wall. I love the walnut desk, so I thought it would be nice to have the same material on the wall. Now, to achieve this look, we have 2 options. The first one would be to cover the wall with thin wood panels and then stain them with a darker color to mimic the walnut look. And this would probably be the most expensive option. Or we can do wallpaper. There are some high quality ones available that even mimic the texture of wood, so I would go for something like that. And just a heads up, I see that the walls here have texture. So in order for the wallpaper to look good, you'll have to first smooth down the texture of the walls. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that. Yeah, that already looks better in my opinion. But this wall needs something extra to really shine. So I'll hang a bold, abstract piece of art right on its center. And this will be the contrasting piece here, with more vivid colors and creative style. And you know what else has the power to instantly elevate the room and it would always look good? Trees. Some tall indoor plants really look like a sculpture. They bring so much texture and visual interest. Just look at the difference this one makes here. For this room specifically, I would look for one with branches that bend slightly to the right to create this nice sense of movement towards the center of the wall. By the way, Facebook Marketplace is a great place to find fully grown trees for a reasonable price, because they can get really pricey. You might have to keep looking for a while until the perfect one appears, but I do believe it's worth it. Okay, so this completes our feature wall. Now I want to add a rug. Rugs really make a huge difference. They are like game changers for pretty much any room. For this one, I'm choosing a solid navy rug to ground the space and keep the bold vibe. Finally, let's add a couple of chairs in front of the desk for guests. And this completes this perspective of the office. Now, what do we do with this corner here? I see this huge printer and a few office supplies, so we definitely need some storage and a large surface for the printer. So I would actually keep everything where it is, and I would just choose a piece of furniture that looks more cohesive to the rest of the room and that has more hidden storage. Such as this one here, with a dark wood finish, a large surface area for the printer, and some storage space. This corner looks more official now, doesn't it? And to complete it, I'll hang a piece of art he already has in the space, this interesting sketch. And also, I'll add a picture light above it to increase its importance and also to add another light source to the space. I chose this one with the chrome finish to match with the legs of the chairs. And you can find similar options that are rechargeable and don't even require hard wiring, which is great. Okay, now for the final wall. Here we have 2 small windows, and they are not perfectly symmetrical, with kind of bothers me a bit. So I'll add 2 pairs of curtains, but they would be hung in a symmetrical way. So now we have a much more harmonious look. Finally, I'll take this picture that was between the windows and hang it on this wall here with another picture light above it, just like on the other side. And that's it. I love this office so much. I wish I had it for myself. Moving on. This is Sue's integrated space of living and dining. They say, I have zoned the area into 2 halves, but want to warm it up, yet still feel relaxed and calm. I like neutral colors and my theme is modern/Japandi style. I love the style of my sofa, but I am unhappy with the layout and wondered, can you help? I think I can. Okay, so here are a few issues or things that I immediately notice when I look at pictures from this integrated space. First, I see here that there is a hard separation from the wood flooring to the carpet flooring of the living room. And besides this hard separation, there is also the rug under the dining table, and it is small for this table. I don't think the space needs a rug, but we will get there. Second, about the layout with the 2 sofas. If they're not identical, they are pretty much very, very similar. But the way they are currently laid out, it's not working. Like there's a weird gap between them. So we'll try to improve that. Another thing is that the living room doesn't look anchored. Just looks like a bunch of pieces laying around. There's nothing necessarily wrong with each piece, but they just don't look like they belong together. The room lacks cohesion and something to anchor it. Okay, so here are my suggestions for this space, and let's start with the dining area first. Okay, so I'll just remove the rug. Not every room needs a rug. There are a few spaces that we can go without, and dining rooms are one of those. And especially in this narrow area, we would crop the floor space even more, besides the hard stop from the carpet to the wood. So we don't need a rug under the table here. And when we talk about the dining set itself, if you could, I would suggest getting a new one. For this space, I don't think a rectangular table is the best choice. And it is right in the middle of path of travel. So the best option for this space would be a round table. And besides that, I would also choose a lighter option for the chairs. Lighter in terms of shape, in terms of visual weight. And to finish this space, I would get an arc lamp. I love arc lamps. And since here, the only thing that you have above the dining table are a few pot lights, I think it would be hard to get like a proper pendant. And so arc lamps are a great alternative for situations like that. And that's it for the dining area. Now let's look at the living room. Okay, so let's talk about layout first. What I would do here is I will take the TV that is currently really close to the window, and I would actually put it on the opposite wall. And I would also mount it on the wall if you can. And you can keep the credenza if you don't want to invest in yet another piece of furniture. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so with the TV on the opposite wall, we now have to deal with the sofa situation. Based on what I can see here, I feel like both of the sofas can be united, like they make a proper L-shaped sofa. And it would look somewhat like this. I think it is the best way to achieve a cohesive looking room with the pieces that you have. Otherwise, you would still have 2 pieces that look almost identical with a weird gap between them. So if you could join the 2, I think it would look better. And you could still place the bench that you already have with the floor lamp and the plant behind it. Okay, now we have a more traditional layout for the living room with an L-shaped sofa and the TV mounted on the wall. And now we have space for an extra chair. So I would actually replace the acrylic chair that you currently have for another one. This acrylic chair doesn't really match with the Japandi style, so that's why I'm suggesting the change. For guests to actually sit on it and create a conversation zone, extra seating for the living room. And to complete this little vignette, I'll add a tall floor lamp with a cute shade and a small picture on the wall. So the space still lacks something. And To me, it's a rug. So a living room is one of those rooms that rugs are kinda required. Even if you have carpet floors, it's absolutely fine to layer a rug on top of carpet. Rugs are the best way we have to define a space and to really anchor it. So here's the difference it makes in this layout. And I chose a neutral one to connect with the more minimalist aesthetic. Next thing, this living room is missing a coffee table. So I chose a simple round coffee table with the same tone of wood that we chose for the dining space, so both spaces feel connected. And I will also move the mirror that you already have to the entrance wall, where the acrylic chair was previously. I love the look of a large mirror. It's such a key item in any interior. And to complete this cute corner, I chose a stylish stool and a lamp. Now on to some final touches. A couple of interesting art pieces on this wall, a tall tree on the corner. I would also replace the current side table for one that matches the style of the room more. And finally, I would add floor-to-ceiling curtains to this window and Roman shades to this other one. And these window coverings would add coziness and texture, and they would also help to create a proper environment for watching TV. And that's it! Here's how the room looked before, and here's the after. Much more cohesive and cozy in my opinion. On to the next one. This is Kay's long and narrow living space. They say, our living room, dining area, and kitchen are all open to each other. The main entrance is near the kitchen and there's a balcony door in the dining room. However, when we have guests, the layout makes it hard to chat because everything is stretched out lengthwise, and the only extra seating is a bench that isn't too comfortable. We moved in at the end of last year and I'm stuck on how to make the space feel homier and more characterful. So the first thing that I did was to try out other layout options to see if the dining set could be brought closer to the kitchen. But if we were to keep this large couch, it's simply not possible. So this is really the most effective layout for this space. But its functionality can be improved, and we can also add a few key pieces to really bring more character to the space. So let's start with the dining area. This dining set is okay, but I will suggest selling it and investing in a more high quality and more stylish option. I would choose an oval dining table here for better flow, and also chairs of a different wood to add more variation and contrast. Besides, instead of keeping the dining set in the center of this area, I would actually move it closer to the wall and add a built-in storage bench on the corner so we can sit more people and also improve the layout functionality, since now we have more space to go in and out through the balcony door. We can even add a tall plant to this corner here for some height. To complete this dining space, I choose a more impactful light pendant to go above the table, like this black one. Now for the living room. First of all, rug. I know, right? Shocker. It will define the space and make it cozier. I chose a neutral one here. Next, I replaced this small cabinet here for a tall wooden bookshelf. It adds height and gives you plenty of space to display the core objects that will inject life to the space. In front of it, we'll place a comfortable chair to have more seating when guests come over. I chose this blue one, so I will also add a few blue cushions to the sofa. You know, I always include at least one extra lamp to any space. So for this one, I chose this red one from IKEA to add another pop of color and create a cozy environment at night. I also chose to hang a piece of art above the sofa with tones of red and blue in it. Finally, window coverings are the icing on the cake. So I chose Roman blinds for both windows. And that's it. Here's the before, and here's the after. By investing in a few key pieces of higher quality and adding a bit of color, the room was completely transformed. Up next, we have Marika's room. They say, I need help finding the right rug for the space. This is a sitting area mainly for me and my cat. The layout of the sofa and the entry door of the hallway make it an awkward space for a rug. Okay, I have some thoughts. First, I'd like to say that yes, this is a long and narrow space. But oh my god, it is so beautiful. I mean, those large windows and the amount of natural light coming in. I love this space. And also, it's styled pretty nicely. I love the dining table and chairs. I love the plants and the little decor details. For me, this is a very beautiful space. So let's start with the main challenge that they have currently, which is finding a rug that goes well with this awkward layout. So when I'm dealing with awkward spaces, or sometimes even super tiny ones, I like to use round rugs. This area is like tucked in the corner, like in one of the ends of a very long space. If you place a rectangular rug here, it would have to be as wide as the room, right? So in practice, we would have a hard separation between the rug and the rest of the floor, like the rest of the space. And this doesn't look that good, in my opinion. So in situations like that, round rugs are the best option because they create like this sense of integration, like this fluidity between the spaces. So I would definitely go for a round rug here. I'm not exactly sure about your color preferences, but you could go with a solid round rug or one with a subtle touch of pattern to add a bit more character to the space if you like. Because your space is so neutral, pretty much any color would work here. So it's all about taste. So this would be my suggestion for the problem that they pointed out. But I just can't help myself. I went beyond that. So I'm pretty much constantly thinking about how a space can be laid out differently. It's like a personality trait of mine, basically. I walk into a room and I immediately start to think if the layout of that room could be different. It happens to my own house, it happens when I go to my mother's house, to my friend's house. I just can't help it. So when I look at this room, I can't help but think, what if? What if we had a different layout here? So they did send me the dimensions, the overall dimensions of this long space. And here's how it looks in 3D. And I don't have the exact dimensions of the sofa, but we can have like a general idea with this model here. So if we kept this sofa, I do believe that this is the best location for it because it is almost square in terms of width and length. If we place it in any other spot, it would basically cut the room in half and leave a narrow space to go through as the main path of travel, and that is far from ideal. But if you are open to choosing another sofa, which you don't have to, you didn't ask for this, here's how the room could look like. So for this, I chose a smaller sofa, and it's not a sectional, it's just a regular 3-seater sofa. And now we can place the living room actually in the center of the space. So I would keep the dining table and chairs exactly where they are because I do believe that the kitchen is behind one of these doors. So yes, this is the best location for the dining room. And with the living room in the center of the space, we actually have the opportunity to create a proper entryway. So we can use this beautiful cabinet that you already have as an entryway cabinet and define the space with a round rug to create a better integration with the rest of the room. Besides, the bookshelf and desk can be placed closer to the window, right across the entryway, and so we also have a dedicated home office space. And with the living room in this position, we can ground it using a regular rectangular rug, and we can also add a couple of chairs to create this beautiful and functional conversation zone. I added a few decorative touches here and there. I kept your beautiful light pendant both near the entrance and above the dining table. We can also keep your floor lamp and place it right next to the sofa here. On the opposite side, in the middle of the two chairs, a nice side table with an extra lamp, and to define the corner of the living room, a tall tree. I love tall trees. And that's pretty much it. So this is just an exercise to see how things could be if you had a different sofa. Doesn't mean you have to do any of this. I just can't help myself. Sorry. So with this new layout option, here's the before and here's the after. So what did you think about all these transformations? Did you like it? Do let me know in the comments. I love to hear your thoughts. Also, tell me if you liked the format of this video, because I usually do deep dives into one specific space, but do you think it works if I include several spaces in one single video? If so, I could make more like this. And if you like room transformations like this one, you'll probably like to watch this video or this one. Oh, and if you did like this video, don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to see more content like this. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.